Hello students, today we will start with prose section and discuss the first lesson of our book Flamingo titled as The Last Lesson by Alphonse Daudet. So let's first know about the author. Alphonse Daudet, life tenure 1840 to 97. He was a French novelist, dramatist, and short story writer. Although he was not very well educated, yet he wrote his first novel just at the age of 14. The author also joined army to fight in Franco-Prussian War, and this incident proved a landmark in his life as the same incident provided him the base for his short story that we are going to read today. So, let's have a look at the background of the story. The story of this lesson is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War, in which France was defeated by Prussia. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and some parts of Austria. Due to the defeat in war, two French districts, namely Alsace and Lorraine, have been passed in Prussian hands, and in the story we will read teaching of French language is discontinued in these two districts as per an order from Berlin. Instead, the German language would be taught there. And due to this order, all French teachers are asked to leave. And the present story describes the last day of one such French teacher, that is Mr. M. Hamel, one of the main characters of the story, and along with him we have other main character, friends, his student, who will also play the role of narrator in the story. Students, now we are going to discuss the main points of this lesson that will help you to comprehend the text. Yes, when the story begins, we notice that the narrator of this story, friends, he was on his way to school and he was getting late for school. Why? Because he had not prepared his lesson on participles assigned to him by his teacher M. Hamel. And that's why he was in the fear of his teacher's ruler, and he thinks of spending the day outside as it is bright and warm with birds chirping. And he was also tempted to watch drilling of Prussian soldiers. But soon he overcomes his temptation and rushes to school. And on his way, while he was passing by the town hall, he sees a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Students, the town hall is a building that is used for the administration work of local government, as you can see in the slide also. And the bulletin board, it is the board which has been bringing all the bad news for these French people for the last 2 years. That's why the narrator doesn't wait to read as thinks what bad news can be there. And the blacksmith that was also standing near the bulletin board, he calls friends and asks him not to hurry as there is plenty of time. But the narrator doesn't pay any heed to his words, thinking that blacksmith is just making fun of him, and he starts running towards his school. When he reaches school, he sees a different scene in the class. Before reaching there, he was expecting to enter in the class without being noticed, as usually there is a lot of noise and disturbance. And why this noise and disturbance was there? Because of the sounds of opening and closing of desks, because of the repeated lessons of the students, and the striking of teacher's ruler on the table. And he thought of taking advantage of this situation of hustle and bustle, of noise, of commotion, to enter the class. But he couldn't fulfill his desire to enter the class in such a way. Why? Because when he reached the school on that day, he was shocked, as unlike the other days, on that day it was complete silence, as if it was a Sunday morning. And the most surprising thing he noticed was that all the students have already taken their respective places, and teacher M. Hamel, he was wearing his beautiful green formal dress, which he used to wear only on special occasions like prize distribution days or the days of inspection. And he was walking up and down in the class. Even the big benches, which used to remain empty, were also occupied by the villagers. And then suddenly he heard M. Hamel words announcing that, "Dear students, this is the last lesson in French language as per the order from Berlin. Henceforth, only German language will be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine." And now, friends, gets, yes, this must be what written in the bulletin board. Now, friends, regrets for not taking the lessons seriously. He feels sorry for ignoring his lesson. He is deeply pained at the thought of M. Hamel going away. And but M. Hamel tells friends, "It's not only your fault, my dear. All the people of Alsace have never been interested in learning. They were in the habit of putting everything off till tomorrow. And we, we also in the school did the same thing." He also blames himself. He said that he used to take holidays whenever he felt like fishing. He also used to tell his students to plant his trees. After this, M. Hamel starts to give his last lesson. He calls the French language the most he calls French language the most beautiful language, and he tells that this language is the key to their prison, so everyone must keep it alive and strong. He wants to teach them everything in one go. Then he gives them a lesson in writing. The entire class was so busy during the writing session that nobody even paid attention to flying insect in the class. Meanwhile, the church clock struck 12, and the sound of trumpets played by Prussian soldiers could be heard under the window. Finally, M. Hamel gets up and writes in big letters Vive la France on the blackboard and leaves the school by making a gesture with his hand. So, dear students, these are the main points of this lesson that will help you to comprehend this text very well. So, after discussing the main points, now we can easily infer about the theme and sub theme employed by the author. As far as the theme is concerned, main theme is concerned, it is the impact of war on the life of people. It also beautifully highlights the importance of our own language, and it also tells the fear and shame of losing freedom of learning and using mother tongue. And sub-themes incorporated by the author are students, teachers, and parents' attitude to learning and education, respectively. Students, you are also supposed to note down these difficult words. First one is blacksmith, person who makes iron tools. Second, blushed, became pink, solemn, serious, wretches, unfortunate, enslaved, made slave, scratching, sound of pen and paper, hop wine, wine of hop plant, trembled, shook, trumpets, wind instrument, vive la France, long live France. So, this was our first lesson. Thank you. Thank you.